Yahoo News, 14th of May 2023, How China Gained Control of the Illicit Money Laundering Market. Rosario D'Onofrio allegedly had €180,000 in cash on him when he entered Milan's vibrant Chinatown neighborhood in March 2020. The Rambo Italian football referee was there to meet a Chinese money launderer who could assist him in paying suppliers in Spain for a shipment of hashish, according to the prosecution. The referee has been accused of working as a drug dealer in his spare time. The funds didn't leave the country once they were transferred. Instead, all D'Onofrio's contact had to do was text a friend in Spain with instructions to pay the same sum to the provider there. A mirror transaction, or effective transfer, left no clear trail for law enforcement to pursue. D'Onofrio merely sent the Chinese money launderer €2,700 or a meager 1.5% commission. The March 2020 episode, made public by Italian anti-mafia prosecutors, illustrates a dilemma faced by governments in Europe, North America, and Latin America as groups use a vast network of Chinese fixers to clean their dirty money. In November of last year, Italian authorities detained D'Onofrio. When Reuters asked about the case last month, his attorney declined to comment. China has a significant impact on money laundering that some experts think Chinese-controlled organizations and people may currently be in charge of up to half of it. Even the drug cartels in Mexico and Colombia, which had previously maintained such operations in-house, are now using Chinese money launderers to support their oligarchies, U.S. lawmakers learned last month. Meanwhile, the UK's National Crime Agency, NCA, has warned that some Chinese students have become mules for gangs transporting illegal money in and out of the nation. According to some estimates, as much as half of the money laundering in the globe today may involve Chinese-affiliated businesses. Due to actions taken to fill a market gap created by a crackdown on alternative means of cash cleaning, the nation and its residents have become a significant fixers in the global movement of dark money. According to Maria Nizzolo, a financial crime expert at the Royal United Services Institute, RUSI, criminals will always adapt in the same way governments do. The activity of organized crime is sustained by money laundering. Without it, criminals would find it difficult to use their stolen money. The practice is inherently challenging to identify. According to the World Bank, most experts estimate that each year, or $2 to $5 trillion, the equivalent of 2% to 5% of world GDP, is laundered. The drug trade is primarily responsible for this. For years, the needs of the Mexican and Colombian cartels have been met by transporting large amounts of cash and exchanging pesos on the underground market. However, after Colombia passed harsh new anti-laundering legislation and Mexico limited U.S. dollar bank deposits to $4,000 per month, the cartels have had to look for alternative funding sources. Criminals in Latin America are increasingly resorting to Chinese gangs, who provide almost rapid money transfers for high costs. Chinese brokers can charge as little as 6% in commission, compared to other brokers 10 to 15%. Because these organizations view drug money as a side business, fees are cheaper. Their primary source of income is from assisting Chinese elites and politicians with moving their money abroad and out of Beijing's prying eyes. Cartels' money in the U.S. provides a good liquidity pool. People in China are prohibited from sending more than $50,000 overseas yearly because of currency controls. Elites who want to spend money overseas freely may find it challenging to do so. Oni. It's a symbiotic relationship, says Channing Mavrolis, director of illicit trade at the Washington-based think tank Global Financial Integrity. Each has what the other wants, the Chinese and the cartels said. According to John Cassara, a former CIA intelligence officer and special agent at the U.S. Treasury, the launderers use time-tested methods like trade-based money laundering, TBML, to transfer money abroad. To settle debts, TBML entails overcharging or undercharging for shipments of everything from watches and gold to inexpensive widgets. As Chinese trade with the rest of the world has exploded, the potential for TBML has only increased. Compared to financial regulation, customs enforcement is likewise somewhat lax. According to Kasara, I think people are just beginning to understand the magnitude of Chinese transnational crime. Although these systems have been available for a while, they successfully surpass our anti-money laundering safeguards. Fei Chen, or flying money, is another of the most recognizable methods employed by Chinese gangs. Millions of Chinese laborers have utilized this legal method of sending home wages while working overseas for many years. It is a form of covert banking that relies on solid relationships between family, friends, and business partners. According to the U.S. Justice Department, the underground banking system's record-keeping procedures are practically non-existent, with coded messages, chits, and phone calls used to transfer money from one country to another. With gang-affiliated brokers providing services to cartels, workers, and wealthy clientele alike, this system is vulnerable to exploitation. According to Nate Sibley, a research scholar at the Hudson Institute in Washington, cash-generating Chinese enterprises owned by gangs, such as restaurants, casinos, and dry cleaners, frequently wash illegal gains in the U.S. This indicates that the money can be concealed and deposited into open bank accounts without raising too many red flags. Sibley notes that although many of these enterprises are run by tenacious Chinese Americans, the gangs exploit them. Once the dollars are safely in a bank account, the money launderers can sell them to a Chinese elite or use them to purchase real estate and cover their children's college expenses. The elite then transfers the corresponding amount of renminbi from their Chinese bank account to the gang's account in China in exchange for a fee. Neither the US nor China has any money to leave. According to a 2019 NCA study, comparable circumstances exist in the UK, where gang members convinced Chinese students to assist by pleading with them to use their bank accounts for unbanked Chinese workers or other students who needed to send money home. For a price, some students willfully assist in collecting illegal funds and distributing them to mule accounts. The NCA claimed a group took control of 600 mule accounts at a single bank in one instance. According to Lawrence Howland, Director of Compliance at Buckles Solicitors and a former investigator at Revenue and Customs who served as a UK government liaison in China, many who play along are on temporary visas and pose little risk of being discovered. He continues, "It is a serious issue, and as Chinese business opportunities expand internationally, so do the opportunities for criminals to move money." Most Western specialists concur that the issue requires more specialized resources and collaboration from the Chinese government, which frequently offers meager assistance. According to Mavrolis of Global Financial Integrity, it is unclear whether Chinese authorities could stop the gangs given the volume of transactions, many of which were facilitated by WeChat and Alipay. Beijing, however, cannot be unaware of what is happening, according to Kasara. He uses the phrase Chinese Communist Party Incorporated to refer to all of the criminal organizations in China. The government effectively suppresses websites and social media that it deems dangerous to the CCP dictatorship. If they so want, they could also take action against this. According to China, a global center for money laundering has never been, is not, and will never exist.